in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales really takes a trip into the Spider-Verse.
I really don't think, as good as this movie was, I love this movie, but 97 on Rotten Tomatoes is a little bit pushing it, if you know what I mean.
I would say that it's definitely certified fresh, which means that it's above 75 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it definitely deserves a 97 or even more. And the reason I think that is because its animation style really combines this comic booky theme, which is given to you because Miles, he's always putting up these stickers, which is this like weird comic-y font in these bright colors, and it really makes you feel like you're just reading an animated comic book.
I do like that idea, but honestly, the plot was good. It wasn't an original plot, if you know what I mean.
Well,
I see the fact that like, oh yeah, this happens, but that usually happens in like a superhero sort of thing. It's not really deviating much. It's deviating a little bit from the usual Spider-Man. It's literally, I mean, I like the idea that it comes up with new, like, oh yeah, so this guy, he does this differently, and oh yeah, Spider-Man always does this. He always gets hurt, but he keeps on going. I like that idea. That is the one thing that I think I say on Rotten Tomatoes it really deserved a solid maybe 91 to 95.
I don't think so, because I think it was kind of odd how they brought in all these different characters, but like they had a character for each art style. Noir Spider-Man was obviously maybe mid-90s TV or early
like
90s.
60s maybe.
I don't know, early 90s TV. The anime Spider-Girl person, she obviously brought in the anime style. Peter Porker brought in...
Yeah, that I thought that was very funny. I really think that deserves some credit.
Peter Porker is actually from Spider-Man comics.
I know. All of these are from... I'm pretty sure all of these are come from comics.
Probably.
Most
Maybe
likely.
not.
There's
like
at least
New
there's
York.
I know that there's at least 500 issues because the 500th issue, as most of you know, just in case spoiler warning, if you're intent on reading all the Spider-Man comics,
doesn't
skip
normal
this.
Spider-Man die?
Exactly.
And that's where Miles Morales comes in.
Yes. That's basically this guy who was running the Spider-Man comics. He took a big leap of faith by on the celebrating the 500th issue. Everybody was so happy. They were like, "Oh, Spider-Man, he did it!" And then all of a sudden, they like read the comic and they're like, their jaws just drop out and their eyes pop out. Stan Lee even tweeted something about like, "Well, you managed to screw up my favorite comic."
Maybe, did Stan Lee write that?
Stan Lee wrote something around those perimeters, yeah.
I know, but I mean, I definitely like how it's a lot like Black Panther, where it's a quality beast. Even though 90% of the characters are white, you do have this main character and his dad, who are both black, and then you have...
I like the diversity, yes.
And then the second main character is either the first Spider-Man, the brown-haired Spider-Man, or Spider-Gwen, who's a girl, and she's female, unknown.
I mean,
Yeah.
but I really like that, and I really like how they I really wish that Marvel could figure from the start had taken more of the comic ideas that were from women and reimagined them into like, I know comics had those issues with there was the whole thing with like, oh, women being like objectified in comics. I know that was an issue, but I really feel like Marvel could have done something about that to change that around, to make it that so that converting them into movies made it a lot, better. And there could have been more women Marvel movies. Black Widow still hasn't gotten her standalone.
I don't think Black Widow really deserves a movie, because just like think about a movie.
I mean, it would be like a very vulgar movie.
Plus, she has no power. It'd be like making a movie.
Batman had a standalone movie.
But Batman's different because Batman has this whole backstory, and
So does she.
Like,
they could easily create backstory. All you know is that she.
Probably not in the comics. I bet in the
I don't
comics
even
she's
know what
like an
happened.
orphan raised by Ra's al Ghul, and she moved into the Marvel universe from the DC universe, and she trained with like Aquaman.
Okay, okay, but literally, like Black Widow has been dated back to some of like really, really, really early comics.
Well, I mean, she was one of the first.
Yeah, she was one
The
of
first
the first
Avenger.
in the
starring.
comics even.
Well, and the first Avenger is Captain America.
Oh well, definitely, but
Yeah, his
in the
movie-
comics she was really early on.
I mean, his movie is called The First Avenger
for a reason.
because
But
he was like timeline the first Avenger.
yes, but I like they still could have involved more female characters. I see that happening. I
mean-
really wish that could have happened.
I think it's cool, sort of cool how they like. I mean, maybe in the first few minutes of the movie, you already get this sense that Miles is going to be the main character.
Oh,
but
yeah.
when he first meets Spider-Man, I mean, personally, I was thinking he meets Spider-Man, and Spider-Man gets captured by Kingpin.
He doesn't really get captured. He gets
he gets killed.
he gets killed.
But
yeah.
I thought that Spider-Man was going to get captured by Kingpin, and that the whole thing is that he would have to like go through all these hardships to finally save Spider-Man.
That is exactly what you'd expect. That is the
So,
there's
it's
two
nice.
underdog stories. There's two underdog stories. The new one comes up, takes over for him, which is the
Rocky.
typical Miles
That's like
Rocky
Rocky.
/ Miles Morales. And the other underdog story is that one gets captured and the small weakling has to figure out how to do it all on his own.
Yeah.
But this one reinvented the way it thought of that.
And-
that is why that is a big hitter for why it got 97.
And I think another reason, along with the art, the music was very like on point.
Oh yeah, but the music was also very diverse as well. The music, the typical would be like ba 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 ba
That's
ba ba
Fox
ba ba.
21st century.
No, just because I did a similar
Or
whatever.
20th century, not 21st. Fox 21st century, making movies since 2011.
But it has been just this common theme, and I really think it broke that status quo. But
Especially
still,
Sunflower by Sway Lee and.
I mean,
Chris
after
Nolan.
that, it kind of faded back into the general idea. It deviated off a path. It created a sub path, not like a full new blown like genre of superhero movies. It just created a little bit of a riff in the quote unquote hero's journey, if you know what the hero's
Yeah.
journey is, like you learned about it in school or something like that. It deviated from that path a little, created a new sort of subgenre, and I really think that was a big part. But then it sort of faded back in, which is why I would not give it a 97. 97 is
I
like
still think it deserves it.
I really like the fact that it got a very high rating. I think it deserved that. But a 97 would I can't think of any other movie that's gotten that high of a rating.
Toy Story got 100.
Oh well, Toy Story is Toy Story. That's an original movie.
So is I don't know. Yeah, I think
I mean, Toy Story back then, like The
we
Incredibles.
can't talk about Toy Story.
We can't really talk about Toy
We'll
Story.
get into it too much, but
We'll get too much into like the old movies getting this. I don't really think that like these movies 100
Get
on
Out.
Rotten Tomatoes
Get
is
Out.
like oh I thought you told me to like leave the room.
oh
I
no,
was so
Get
confused.
Out.
I know
It's
Get
a
Out
horror
the movie.
from it got 100.
Well, it got a 100 for as in a horror movie. This is
It was apparently really good. Haven't
I
seen it.
haven't watched it.
Yeah.
I don't really intend on watching it either. But
Get Out.
but
Yeah, but
I
like,
really think that 100 on Rotten. I know this is deviating from Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse, but I really think that like the plot twists were good as well. I did not see the fact Aaron being that was completely off of the comics. They would never do that in the comics.
Wait,
Aaron
Aaron
being
who?
Aaron as in Miles' uncle.
being the bad guy?
Yeah, that was confusing. I did not see that coming. Plot twists that managed to confuse me and throw me completely off, that is what I'm looking for.
But then one thing would have been cool. So, I mean, once we learn that he was his uncle and he's like lying to Kingpin that he knows Miles, I think that so everyone really thought that he would defend Miles and then die at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, is there really any other way to change it? To take
out Aaron?
they could have kept him alive.
Oh yeah, they
and then
definitely
sacrificed him at the end.
But no. But the thing is, in the comics, Uncle Aaron always dies. In some of the versions, in most of the versions,
like Uncle Ben?
No, not like that, but in a way gruesome way.
Ooh.
They fight over something, and then they get in such a bad fight that with his Spider-Man powers, he kills them or something around those parameters. Don't quote me on that. That's probably it's around generally what happens, something vulgar like that. And the Spider-Man installments, I love them so much, but I really do not think that 95. To be fair, it deserved a 95.
I still think it deserved a 99 or a 100.
I don't know. I mean, it reinvented a Marvel movie, which is something very, very hard to do.
I think it was produced by Sony.
Well, it's still Marvel.
Because they had Sony headphones and they didn't cite that Sony was a sponsor. I think it's pretty...
Sony might have sponsored it, but
well,
it's still
produced
Marvel.
by Sony because Sony has rights to Spider-Man also.
Well, yeah, but it's also still Marvel. It's
And
both. Because then they wouldn't be able to make comics. And Sony would have its own comic.
Well, I think they both have rights, but...
They both have equal rights to it.
Off the point, also...
So basically, they just sponsored Sony very inconspicuously.
No.
A little bit.
I think the only thing I think that's really bad is bad guy motive.
Oh, yeah.
He just
wants
Kingpin,
to say...
I want to see my Vanessa...
I want to see my... literally...
generic wife that ran away from me because I have big meaty fists.
Because I'm a crime lord.
Yeah, I'm a mafia
Most
boss.
crime lords would
Level
not have
100
a
mafia
family.
boss.
I just don't see that. If your wife cannot handle you, and if you are a big crime lord who's killed as many people as he has, you will...
Millions.
He's probably killed millions.
I don't think so.
Kingpin apparently was around for a very long time in the comics.
Wait, just think about this. The population of New York or Los Angeles is, I think, 500,000 or whatever.
Thanos. It's like Thanos. Kingpin just goes.
Ear rape.
But it comes down to whether this motive really made sense to me. It kind of made sense. I mean, a little bit. I think that motive alone takes it down at least 1%.
I don't know.
I mean,
motive is a lot of the movie, but I still think
the motive is the entire basis of the movie. You have to have a good basis.
It made up for it
and everything else.
In other plot.
It could have just said, oh yeah, Kingpin had a dead uncle, and he was trying to bring back that dead uncle as well. That still would have went and still would have gotten that 97 rating.
I think the thing that
it was at 100% of Rotten Tomatoes when it came out. It went down to 97 because people sent in bad reviews after they got over the fact of how cool it was.
The reviewers' review, the actual movie reviewers' review, always stays the same because they get to watch it early, and they kept it at 97. Well,
no, it was at 100 before. In the ads for the actual movie, it was at 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
How?
It did. I remember.
It never
I watched
goes
that,
down.
and it was Jesus Christ.
How?
More reviewers who didn't get to get in early.
Well, that's not how it works.
I don't know.
They get all their reviewers to watch it early, and then.
I mean, I don't know, but I remember it. It went down at somehow, some way. But 100% on Rotten Tomatoes should be literally cannot find more than 3 flaws.
I can think of errors in Toy Story.
Well, yeah, exactly. That is why I do not think 100% on Rotten Tomatoes should be handed out that easy.
Coming next time,
It's
Toy
just that
Story, why it sucks, and why Disney should never make movies about toys that kill people. Don't kill people.
To be fair, there is such a wide spectrum of movies that 100% I really just do not think cuts it fully. You need deeper ratings. You need
Emoji
99.97. I don't care what, but it needs to be more specific.
You think that's unspecific? Wait, what's the name?
Specific.
Wait, what's not GTFO? That's not the name of it. Wait, what's the service that only rates?
Okay, well, whatever. This video is getting very lengthy.
I don't know, but still, I think coming down to a consensus, I think it should have an 100. You think it should have a 95, 97, perfect.
97 is exactly what it got.
But still,
so that makes sense.
The one thing that
I mean, if we're going Rotten Tomatoes, then it's going to get that 97 because that is Rotten Tomatoes. Movies that a lot of people watch, it's biased like that.
I don't know. I mean, do you think there could be some sort of like anti-racism bias? Like maybe
I definitely think so. Look at Get Out. I'm not trying to be racist in any way, but look at Get Out was literally centered around that.
You mean there is a character that was character was black.
The whole point was that it's Get Out. You're like
it was apparently it's one of the best horror movies ever. I think it deserves I mean, and for example, let's say the other main movie with black people. Oh, boom, Black Panther, 97.
What about the Black Klansman? What did that get? Do you know?
Never heard of that.
That's a movie that came out recently.
Wait, but we don't need to.
We're kind of deviating from the path of Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse and more into how the system, into how the system works.
But
I think we've talked all that we can about Spider-Man.
Well, I have one last thing to say.
Go ahead.
I think the way to round it, make it a perfect 100, is take the bad guy plot, See, I think they were trying to make you feel bad with Kingpin about losing his family, but what I would do is I would take, like, Electro, maybe, not Electro, but, like, maybe Doc Ock, and make it about I would make it about how he didn't lose a relative, or maybe even Kingpin, but I would make it about how his parents were both killed in a fire.
And then he discovered that he could get them back, and then he wanted them back.
Something maybe
like that.
They were the reason he's mad at Miles is because maybe his father arrested his dad, and he escaped and he was shot.
That would be perfect.
Yeah,
that would make a lot of sense.
Or maybe like
I would totally go for that.
Instead of Kingpin, it's like Electro. Electro's parents were killed because they were shot by Miles' dad, and now Electro's mad at Miles because I'm mad at your dad and I can't get him, so I'll get you. Boom, that makes sense.
Because
or maybe they even center it that Miles' dad is a target
and that he's trying to save Miles. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a million different ways.
And they're protecting him in like the Spider-Man cave.
Right there is the paradox. Miles Morales has so many possible ways. You can almost never go wrong. It's hard to go wrong with the Miles Morales storyline. There was a book made. Everybody loved the book. It's completely different from what happened in the movie. There's no relation whatsoever. The comics were loved. The book was loved. The movie was loved. There is just so many possible things that can go right that almost outnumber what can go wrong. But I think that should be where we end off here.
I don't know. Well, still, one last little thing.
One last one. This is it. Last one. Last one.
I think with Miles Morales, I think one thing, personally, the cameos are very cool. I mean, my favorite is during...
Rip Stanley.
Yeah, I don't know. But during the Spider-Man cave, I know it's produced by Sony, and so in the Spider-Man cave, they had all of the Spider-Man suits from the 2018 Spider-Man game.
Yeah, they had most of the suits from
because that's a Sony game produced on PS4.
Sony, everything.
Sony.
Yeah, that's just more proof that Sony is getting.
I think they have like joint custody of Spider-Man. Sony and Marvel were like lovers, and then they broke up, so they have joint custody of their kid, which is like Spider-Man. And then like they treated him bad, and that was the Tobey Maguire movies, and that was where. Because, like, okay, we all know those movies sucked, right? So, they, like, treated the kid bad, and they were, like, spanking him, and that was the equivalent of the Tobey Maguire.
But then they all made up and then created this godly movie.
And then Marvel came, and he took him, and Marvel's, like, the unwanted mom that becomes wanted, and then Marvel made the Amazing Spider-Man.
And then made the actual good Spider-Man movies.
Well, whatever they were.
Then it became a bit. Then
those were like that was like Spider-Man was like, okay, I kind of like you, Mom. And then they made Homecoming's like, fuck yeah, I love you, Mom.
And then they made this, and then they're like, my God, 97%. They like just look at the 97%, look at their mom, 97%. Like push them together and then look at them like with the director eye.
And then the parents get remarried and they make Spider-Man Homecoming into the new Spider-Verse.
Homecoming into the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man Far From Home in the new Spider-Verse. and then the parents get remarried, and then they have another baby, and it's called Spider Boy.
Okay, I
fighting
think
crime since 1945.
I think we're deviating from the course there. I think that's going to be all for today.
Okay, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, and if you really liked it, subscribe, and join us next time on
The
Review Us.
Review Us.